So we are so fortunate today to have representatives from Bank of America. We thought everyone was going to be here in person, but we're women and things happen. And so one of our guests, Kelly Beazley, is in Virginia. She's joining us virtually and she's going to come up on the screen in a minute. But we're calling it a fireside chat. And I figured we're famously hot, right? So it's a different kind of fireside chat. And we're in the 90s already this week, and we're still in the middle of May in Columbia, which is not all that unusual. But today we do have Kelly Beazley. She's a public policy executive, state and local government relations for Bank of America, and Nicole Scott. She's a Columbia market executive with Bank of America. So Nicole is here in person. Kelly's going to join us on the screen. And I'm going to give you a little bit of background information, and then Nicole's going to come up and they're going to talk a little bit about appointed office and Kelly's perspective from government relations on appointed office. Nicole is, like I said, the Columbia Market Executive for Bank of America. She leads the firm's community impact work through relationships with community partners, key influencers, and political officials, local marketing, sponsorships, media, and philanthropic giving. So she has a lot on her plate. She's also responsible for connecting local leaders across South Carolina and providing enterprise resources that enables the bank to deliver the breadth of the company locally. And she is a native of Columbia. She's actively involved in the community through board service and volunteering, and she is a proud wife and mom to 3 children. And Kelly Beazley is Bank of America's Southeast Public Policy Executive. She oversees state and local government relations in 12 states, so also a big undertaking. She's a 2020 recipient of the Bank of America Global Volunteer Award. And prior to joining Bank of America, she was a senior government relations manager for Walmart, where she managed legislative, political, and charitable giving activity in Connecticut, Virginia, and West Virginia. She also spent 7 years serving as a congressional and state legislative political strategist and media spokesperson. She began her career in broadcast journalism, working in radio and television in Washington, D.C. and Pennsylvania. So her experience is all over the place. She's actively engaged in a number of organizations, including serving as a board trustee for the Children's Museum of Richmond, and she's a former gubernatorial appointee to Virginia's Secure Commonwealth Panel. A native Virginian, Kelly resides in Richmond with her husband and son and 2 golden retrievers. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Nicole. We're going to bring Kelly up on the screen, and I'm going to let y'all chat a little bit about boards and commissions.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. Ooh.
We're getting a step.
No, that's great. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. And I will tell you, I'm fully transparent. So this is like, I have to call through my Secret Service earbuds. So if you see it, I'm not on the phone with somebody else. I am actually speaking with Kelly. But thank you guys so much for being here this afternoon. It is quite a pleasure to be your sponsor again for the 3rd year in a row. On behalf of all of my teammates across South Carolina, and some of those in the room, we are just so lucky to partner with such a wonderful organization. Bank of America, we have been investing in women for many, many decades. It really is just part of our DNA, and that's why partnering with this organization is so meaningful to us. I'm really proud, before we get into our conversation with Kelly, I really want to share the investment that they make in women. And being a female employee of Bank of America, 50% of our workforce is females, which is a great testament. 50% of our board of directors is diverse. That includes 38% of those individuals are women. Our company is committed to equal pay for equal work through our pay for performance philosophy. And this is one thing that I'm super proud of. For our moms and our dads, we offer 26 weeks of paternity leave. So that's moms and dads. 16 of those weeks are fully paid. When that rolled out, I was like, ooh, I might have another baby. That sounds great. Through the pandemic, our company offered 4.5 million days of backup care paid. So that's so our employees could continue to either work from home or return to the office, which was pretty incredible. So I'm super proud of the work the bank's doing, and I'm super proud of the work of women in leadership. And so with that, I want to have a conversation with Miss Kelly Beazley. And Kelly is no stranger to South Carolina. She served in our state for many years, and so we were able to form a great partnership. So Kelly, hello there.
Hello.
Virginia.
Thank you so much. Hopefully you guys can hear me virtually.
You sound great. So Kelly, I know that Sarah gave us some insight on your background, but maybe you could tell us a little bit more about your background. And were you a born leader, or was this something you really had to grow into?
Oh no, goodness. Well, first, let me say a huge thank you to Women in Leadership. I am so sorry that I can't be there. We are all dealing with the same kinds of challenges, COVID, and it has struck my household, unfortunately, but I'm so excited to at least be with you virtually. And, this is what women do. There's a problem. We come together, we find a solution. And that's exactly what we did today. So I'm so happy to be here with all of you virtually. Was I born a leader? Oh no, goodness. And I'm sure like many of you in this room, it was a challenge at first to seek out those opportunities and feel comfortable. I think I got my start in particular, like probably many of you did, with nonprofits, working locally in the community, even in schools. Some of you've probably worn that PTA hat before. And it was sitting around some of those tables that I began to see some of the traits that women have, what we bring. We are all about finding solutions. We are all about communicating, about bringing people together. And it made me feel more comfortable about seeking that next opportunity. I know it was mentioned in my bio, I was appointed to a state level board by the governor of Virginia, and I did serve on that. It was interesting when I joined that board, there weren't many women on it. I did something I think that I would encourage all of you to do, and whether you're thinking about taking that leap or you already have, find the other women who you're serving with and build that network. Have those conversations with those other women. I ended up having a great mentor on that board who then went on to serve in an elected office. And I think she and I really uplifted each other, and it was a great opportunity to get me comfortable, especially on a board where there weren't that many women, but then also, to help each other, lift each other up to that next opportunity.
That's great, Kelly. And I appreciate your thoughts on the attributes that women bring to the table. But of course, we all know there are barriers. So what kind of barriers did you face as a woman when serving?
Well, there's the barriers we've all faced. There's sexism, gender bias, stereotyping. It's interesting. I think some of women's greatest attributes are some of the barriers we put on ourselves then when it comes to seeking out these opportunities. We're humble, we're team players. We tend to be less assertive in seeking what we want, and kind of, I think about my own career, and I'm just going to put my head down, do a great job, and good things will happen. And sometimes that does happen. But when it comes to serving, whether it's an elected office or appointed office, I think one of the reasons men have been so successful has been that they go for it. They have the confidence, they don't fear the backlash, and they are advocates for themselves. So I think not only do we need to be doing that, we need to have confidence that, hey, we're qualified. And it's not necessarily impolite or improper to speak up and say, I care about the issues going on in my community, and women, including yourselves, should have a seat at the table. If we're not at the table and we're not part of the conversation, we're going to be left out of the game. So I would say we can't be our own worst enemy. We can't be the barrier to our success. So let's get out there and go for what we want, and be a part of these conversations, and be a part of these boards and commissions, and hopefully then be a part of greater office service, whether that's elected or beyond.
So Kelly, I know we had great discussion on planning for this conversation. We think that all the big decisions and impact is made at the State House, and we know that's not true. A lot of those decisions are made at the board and commission level. So can you tell us a little bit about that role and the impact that can be made there?
Absolutely. Well, if you think about it first, let's think about elected office holders. Over 75% of elected office holders in the United States are men. So you can quickly do the math, and we know what part of the population we serve. So not only do we need to get more women elected, but the boards and commissions who are making decisions on taxes, making decisions on issues affecting our children, how our tax dollars are spent, design and development. These are important roles, not only in our community, but having that voice with the 75% of men who are currently serving in office. So it's more important than ever that one, like I've said, let's have a seat at the table, and that can start with an appointed board or commission. We are critical advisors and decision makers on those boards and commissions. But I think the next step is that's where we can get comfortable. That's where we can take that baby step to learn about the next opportunity. And I personally would love to see more women in elected office. Let me tell you anecdotally, I work with a lot of women in elected office as well as women on boards and commissions. And I find that they are the best listeners. They are the ones who bring consensus, and they are really the ones who become ultimately great leaders in office. So I think there's a lot of opportunity, and we don't have to start big. We don't have to start by taking that step to run for an elected office. But there's, I think it was mentioned in the opening, literally hundreds of open seats right now on appointed boards and commissions. So we can jump in right now and have our voice heard. And, in South Carolina, there's even a women's commission. I think that's something we can all relate to. And I happen to know that there are a few openings on that commission. So there's a great place for all of us to start. And I think it just takes that first step into doing it.
So Kelly, when we talk about community participation, why is it so important that we have diverse representation when we're thinking about governing boards?
Well, look, I already mentioned we have a lot of men already representing us, and we need to have a seat at the table. There are so many issues right now, and I think we can turn on the TV, open up a newspaper, go online, and look at the list of current events and how it impacts us and our families. So I've said men aren't afraid to go for what we want. Women need to do that too. Right now we make up half the population. So it's really time to lean in and take that extra step. These folks are deciding laws that impact all of us. And I think you're here in this room today because you want to do something to make a difference, and you want to do something about what's being decided that impacts all of us. I would just encourage that the more we as a group take a chance and go for those open board seats, for those commissions, the greater chance we're going to have to make the changes we want, not only for women, but our families and our communities.
So Kelly, my last question, obviously you've been appointed to a board, you've received many accolades for your volunteerism. That's a lot of time that you have children, you have a lot of things to balance. Why should women be motivated when serving on a board when they have so many other personal commitments?
Well, that's an excellent question. And we do it all. Let's be honest, ladies. We are the head of our house. We're taking care of children. We're taking care of parents. We have our own businesses. We are literally everywhere. But as I've said, we need to have a seat at the table if we want to have a voice in the laws and the political discussions that are being happened today. And that can really just start simply with an appointed board or commission. I'm grateful. Bank of America is just so generous to give all employees 2 hours a week to serve in our community. So start with that. Go to your company, use us as an example to carve out maybe that small amount of time that we all need to take that next step. I would also say, it's easy to take a step and build on that. Keep going, increase your network. And one of the other things that I love at Bank of America, we have an incredible women's network, and something that I think all of you, by being here at SpringBoard today, can do is build that network. What I love about having women as mentors, mentees, just people to gather with and share experiences, that we can lean on each other. And I think being able to lean on each other for experience, for guidance, for help, for just getting through the day is a big part to taking a step and maybe bringing on a little bit extra into your life, such as serving on a board or commission. So I think by being here at SpringBoard, I wish I was there with you. I know you're going to have a fantastic afternoon full of camaraderie and other speakers, but build that network, lean in on each other. And I think working together, we can overcome those challenges that we all have, kind of feeling like we have to take it on all of it. But, I think we can be successful, even more successful than the men. And it's time that we had a seat at the table.
Thank you, Kelly. We miss you in South Carolina and sending well wishes to you and your family. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you so much, Kelly and Nicole. Thanks. Thank you for getting us started. And again, we really appreciate your sponsorship and your support. It's great to hear the things that Bank of America is doing. And I love the idea of going to your company and saying, Bank of America gives people 2 hours a week to volunteer. I think that that's a great way to start spreading those opportunities for community service.